Hello everybody and welcome to the first video of this YouTube channel. So I made this post in the Honda technical forum. There's a lot of questions, so I thought that I would make a video and try to put some reason to my madness. English is not my first language, so I hope you will understand me, but I will try my best. This here is, I don't really know what I'm gonna call it. It's a 2-liter K24. K24A3 out of a 07 Accord here in Europe. I put a K20 A2 crank, I believe. I don't remember exactly what crank, but an 86mm crank. Then I had some custom rods made to make up the difference from the stroke, because originally the K24 has 99mm of stroke and the K20 have 86. There is a difference there that you have to make up with a longer rod. So this is basically an overboard K20. It's 87mm bore, original from the K24, and the K20 is originally 86. So it's like a bored out K20, which comes out to 2046 cc's. So it's not the 2.1, it's not the 2.2, it's not the Brian Crower stroker kit, it's nothing like that. It's almost all original Honda parts except for the rods and pistons. But why? that's the biggest question I got in the group. Why? And I have two reasons for it. I have 2 plus 1 reason. But if you add those up, I cannot quite pronounce that word. So it's 2 plus 1 reason. My first reason for doing this is cost. A Brian Crower stroker kit to make a 2.2-liter stroker is great, but it costs a lot of money. If you're from the US and you think Brian stroker kit is X amount of money, you take that X amount of money and multiply it by 1.25, and then you get how much I would pay for it. So I always pay a quarter more than everybody in US because of tax reasons in Sweden. This is my budget build, so it's a de-stroked K24. This takes us to reason number 2. I'm not the pioneer, I'm not the first guy doing not this or a K-swap in an S-chassis, it's been done. It's the balance shafts in the K24. When you take it out, it vibrates a lot. And it vibrates a lot because it's an under-square engine. You have 99mm of stroke, which means the piston moves 99mm up and down, and the size of the piston is 86mm, and the rod is 152mm long. There is a thing called a rod-stroke ratio. It's basically the length of the rod center to center divided by the stroke of the crank. In the K24, the rod-stroke ratio comes out to 1.53 in the K24 stock. And this is a bad rod-stroke ratio. Like a Formula 1 car, they might have 2 and or higher. It's a little bit difficult to get info on those engines. With this setup, you get a rod-stroke ratio that is 1.84, which is very high. It's higher than the stock. I think it's 1.64, don't quote me, in the stock K20. So it's even higher than that. The 2 plus 1 benefit of this is piston speed. I have drawn up the engine here. I will show you. The red line is the K24 stock and the blue line is my Frankenstein build. You can directly see that now we're in the middle of the stroke. The crankshaft is 90 degrees from top dead center. Now you see that here on the top, the red line is further down the stroke than the blue line. And they both are at the same point of the rotation, and the red one is further down. Which means, to get further down than the blue on the same place in the rotation, it had to move faster. And slowing this down gives us more than one benefit. It's nicer to the piston. It will not have as much stress of accelerating as fast. And there is a thing called dwell time, which is also piston speed, because it's how long the piston stays at top dead center. Because when it's on the top and you have a longer rod, It doesn't move as fast. That's why I don't know the difference between piston speed and dwell time, but it stays on the top longer before it moves down, because it doesn't have to move down as fast as the red one, basically. That gives us both benefits and the opposite of benefits, I don't know. When it moves fast down like the red does, it creates a lot of vacuum. And vacuum is good because we want air into the cylinder. That's not good for high RPM, the high piston speed, because the piston speed goes up with the higher RPM. Then you can slow the piston speed down with a longer rod. And this will give you less vacuum on lower RPM, but it will benefit you in the high RPM region. And it will also be a little bit more stable, because if you see the red lines cross and there is difference in angle, about 9 degrees difference when it's in the 90 degrees to top to the center, you are moving the rod like this, up and down, but it's also moving like this. And the less you move it like this, the less vibrations you will have, because you're not throwing it around like this inside the engine as much. So this is my hypothesis, and hopefully it will survive. This is actually a 3D printed version of the rod, and I also have spares, because I had to have more made than one set, so I have a couple of spares. For me, the benefit of the high RPM stuff is negligible. I don't know. Sorry. This is not gonna be a 10,000 RPM engine, because I am using the 8 HP gearbox, which even controlled with the max ECU can only rev to 9,000. Even then, it might have to be built. As you see, I have a turbo on it. So the NA benefits of the high RPM are not such a high priority for me. I also have a DCT gearbox lying right there, which I had before in the old SR20 in this car. But now I'm trying out the 8 HP. And if I don't like it, I will go back to the DCT. Because I think the DCT is a real race car gearbox, and the 8 HP is not as race car. But if it works, I will use it. I have also made a torque converter delete for the 8 HP. So when the programming for this is available, I will not run a converter. But in the pipeline right now is this engine in this car, and I'm gonna do a drag and drive event here in Sweden called Street Week. And when I do the drag race or the drag and drive, I will use the torque converter. I don't know if you want any more specs on the engine. The oil pan that is big enough to get invaded by US is made by TF Works. I think it holds about 9 liters, roughly 9 quarts of oil. It's for a rear wheel drive conversion like this one. So this is made for the K24 in the S14. And I have made my own custom motor mounts, which is not mounted right now, where I utilize like a Volvo 200 series or 700 series rubber bushing, because I'm in Sweden and it's easy to get here. The head is the K24 A3 head. I think this is the same as the K24 A2 in the US, I don't really know. It has the variable valve timing on the intake and exhaust cam, and VTEC on the intake and exhaust cam. It will run on E85, so I have 1500cc injectors. The turbo is a Garrett copy of the G1+2 770. I have a fluid damper, also to try to mitigate vibrations, and the whip in the crank. The intake plenum is custom made by me. I drew it up in CAD and had almost same like Send, but here in Sweden. Stål Direkt send it to me. Bosch 74mm drive-by-wire, and I have like a quick clamp system here. It will run a Max ECU race, also Swedish brand. The Max ECU will also control the 8 HP. I think that's the most of it. So if you'd like to follow this build, maybe I can keep uploading to this channel. I have made all the fabrications myself, but I am a rookie fabricator, so I just started. So we will see how many cracks I have after the first startup. Please comment if you have any input on this build or the K204, I don't know what to call it. If you have a name for it, write it in the comments. If you think this is stupid, write it in the comments. If you like it, write it in the comments. Like the video, and if enough of you write comments and like the videos, maybe I can do like an update video sometimes in English. Yeah, thank you. Hej då.